to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757. Hydro, the vapes and blunts I smoke. That's exactly what I need.
What's up, everybody? The After Show Belater, episode number 350. It's your boys, D and Luis Cortez Jr. We are here for another live episode. We got a couple of people right here already joining us live. Andrew Sims, can't forget about the Drews. Leo's in here. So, Luis, I know you had an eventful weekend because you went to Mexico. You saw family. Let me know how it went. Go ahead and get us started, man.
Let's try this again. Thanks, you guys. This is episode 350, but shameful. We just had to redo it, right? I got Rich Davis on my head now. I'm thinking he's gonna be talking shit, but nobody cares. Yeah, bro, it was fun. Pretty mellow. You know, it's like a rancho style. So I got to see a lot of friends and family. It's super definitely humbling. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of amenities. So like no AC, hot water is like the old school tank. So like when there's sun, it warms up. If not, you thug it out and you shower with cold water. But I guess one of the biggest things, like it's kind of a small town, and it's like somehow you're either related to somebody or related to somebody else, kind of thing. And so I was kind of kicking it with this group of girls. They're not my cousins, but they're my cousins, basically. I kind of grew up with them. We act and treat each other like cousins. And I actually saw one of my older cousins who I hadn't seen in a long time. He's from Cali. He was there. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? I haven't seen you. And then, he sees him kicking with all these girls, and he's like, yo, those my cousins, bro? Or like, can I chop it up? Like, can I talk to them or whatever? And I'm like, bro,
That's
look,
so funny.
you and I are blood and shit. Like, I know that for a fact. Like, them and I, we act and treat each other like cousins. We're like, you're not related, bro. Like, oh, take care of it. Like, handle business. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, man, it was fun. Get to see a lot of friends, family, drinking. The town is known for mezcal, which is kind of the opposite or similar to tequila. So a lot of booze, a lot of long nights. I had my dancing boots on, my shit kickers out there, fucking chopping
Your
it up, making
cockroach
it happen.
killers,
But
the pointy boots.
yes, sir. And so it was good, man. Glad to be here, guys. See friends and family. It went by fast. I feel like when you're on vacation, the time goes by faster. I didn't have enough time to do everything, but I'm just glad to be there. Glad to come back in one piece because, Mexico can be a little crazy. But no, man, it was good. I won't continue and drag on the story because Rich was going to talk shit. But what about you, bro? How was your weekend?
Dog, I don't even remember what I did. My family got back in town because they had gone to, they were in Dallas for like a week and a half. So they got back, and then as soon as they got back on Saturday, my wife left to California on Sunday. So dog, just crazy, a lot of crap. Then my daughter started school on Monday. So dog, crazy, I guess week since we've actually seen each other last. But I'm glad you had a good time. It's funny because you have those ones that you said they're not related, they're not cousins, but you treat them like cousins. So it's like they're not related, but you don't touch them, right? So, but then you had, was it a friend or a cousin or something that was like, are we related? Who is that in your family or whatever?
He was actually my actual cousin. That guy was my actual cousin.
Your actual cousin, okay.
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't close to them like you are, right?
No.
So that's why you're like, oh, if you need to handle business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
It's Mexico though, right? Is it, what do they say? Second cousins or kissing cousins or something? Like I don't know. I don't roll like that. But it was just funny because that was like the first thing out of his mouth. He's like, "Yo, me and those chicks related?" Like, nah, bro, like kind of biz and shit.
Lisa said, "Don't fall for that. Not really cousin stuff." What do you call it? But yeah, that's cool. I mean, it sounds like you had a good time, man. I know you said it's always like a little family reunion, so I'm glad you had fun with that. I'm guessing you didn't have time to do this because you were busy with family. But I want to know, if you haven't seen it, are you into the Spider-Man universe?
I definitely am into the movies. I definitely am into that movie. Yes, I have not seen it.
You said you're definitely into it. You haven't watched it though, right?
I haven't seen it, no.
Okay. I had a friend at work. She was like, you got to take your daughter to watch this. But the thing is, Doug, I haven't seen any of the Spider-Mans since like Tobey Maguire was like hanging upside down, kissing the white girl. And that was like, I think I saw that in theaters. I may be wrong. So I'm like, I hear about there's all these different universes and crap. I'm like, if I took my daughter, I know she's never seen any of them. I've seen maybe one. I wonder if it would even be enjoyable. So let us know in the chat if you watched it. Is it worth going if you know nothing about Spider-Man? The only thing I know, dog, is that he hangs from building to building with the. I just know it was a move that you used to give to girls back in the day. They called it the Spider-Man, where you would like on their back or whatever, you know. So that's all I know about Spider-Man. So let me know in the chat if there's anything that that it would be worthy of watching. You know, because the girl at work was like, no, you'll still dig it. But I don't know if I take her word for it. I'll take you guys more than anything. So, but Spider-Man, I know that was a big conversation. Rich said that he feels kind of weird because he missed out on that whole universe, that whole thing. And I feel like that, dog, when you talk about Star Wars, and like Leo's in the chat, I know Leo is like hella down with Star Wars. And I'm like, I get so jealous, dog, of like you guys that have that Star Wars universe, you know, like you're all into it, because there's like endless content. And I'm like, dang, man, I'm like, there's only so many times I could watch Making the Band, you know, or Boy Meets World, you know. So when I hear that, dog, I'm like, man, those people, like, I know I like to bag on like Spider-Man and Marvel and be like, oh, that's nerd shit, but it's I think part of me says that because I'm jealous that I'm not part of that universe, you know? But I lean very Rich Davis and like not really knowing anything about it. But the thing that made me laugh is that when Spot was explaining it, he was like, saying all this different crap. And then Covino's like, why are you trying to make it like it's rocket science? He's like, it's a stupid comic book movie and just watch it, you know? So that's as much as I know. I think I know as much as them. Let's see. Leo in the chat said, I think I'd at least watch the last Spider-Man one to understand the story, where the story's at. Okay, see, then they've lost my money. Because I'm not going to go and catch up on, I'm not going to do homework to watch a movie, dog. So, all right, then I guess this one, just tell me how it was, Luis, whenever you watch it. I know you said that you dig that stuff. Are you all caught up in the universe? So you're ready to go to the theater and watch this one?
I know enough, and I've watched at least the Spider-Man movies for sure, but there's so many too. It's fucking tangled up in this spider web of fucking multi-universes, because I've seen like different little posts like, hey, you need to watch this movie and this movie leads into that movie, like that. Like, I definitely haven't watched it like in that order. I definitely didn't see all of them. Some of them that I guess if they were superheroes or something that didn't really pertain to me. I've seen the main ones. I guess I've seen the meats and potatoes of it, but definitely not the off ones. Now, Star Wars, I definitely have seen them all, the cartoon, the spin-offs, the old, the news, the in-betweens. Not so much the multiverse. Spider-Man itself, yes. The whole Avengers and all that shit put together. Fuck no, there's a lot there.
And you know what? I just saw that you wish Lisa a happy belated birthday. I did she have a birthday after we last recorded? I must have. How could I have missed that? So if I wrote on your wall on Facebook, Lisa, it's probably because Facebook told me. But anyway, happy belated from all of us at the after show. But later, let's see. Lisa said, I think you can watch the movie and not know all the previous movies. Yeah. And then Andrew Sims says that Spot and Brianna Hagg, so Brie Hagg, are into the MCU. Don't know what that means. So you're going to have to, what's MCU? Do you know, Luis?
Yeah, it's the Marvel universe.
Marvel comic universe, maybe?
Yeah, so it's like everything that has to do with all those movies.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm not into it, but I'm not opposed to it. So yeah, let me know. Like Lisa said, that we might be able to enjoy it. So I'm leaning towards maybe going. But let me see what else happened in the world of Covino and Rich. Let me see if there's anything you have, Luis. Let me know.
I definitely think you can watch it as a standalone. You might miss some of the Easter eggs or how this kind of led to this event or whatever. But they usually make them kind of standalone. But we'll see. I have to kind of watch it and I'll let you know.
Let me see. How many ways? Yeah. I don't even know what this is. How many ways can you tell your friend to beat it? Oh, okay. I know what that's regarding. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what you got?
I wanted to bring that one up later, but okay. Did you hear? Well, so if you guys missed it, Covino, let me see. Oh, so LFM's here. Dang, cotton wool. What the hell does that mean, Luis? So we have another Luis in the chat. He says cotton wool. Don't know what that means, but anyway, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Damn it. See, Andrew, I thought it was Marvel Comic Universe. But anyway, Covino paid $600 for something that Melody was going to go to. And there was not a lot of people that paid that. So Covino, trying to pay his bills early, was like, hey, Melody's gonna go to this camp or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and pay early. It was like $600 that he paid. A few weeks later or whatever, the coach is like, oh yeah, we have to cancel that, and you're getting $200 back. And Covino was like, wait, hold on. You had a gang of like poor MFs that couldn't pay the $600. So now, since I paid early, I understand not getting like a full refund, but they're gonna keep $400 out of the $600 for it. So Covino was only given $200 back. If you've paid for kids' sports or whatever, that can be super frustrating. You understand that, they may have had to put a deposit down or whatever. But dog, because they had to put a deposit down or whatever, and so if he would have been a dipshit and been like, I'm not gonna, you know what? I'll wait till Melody. Let me know when there's like the last day to pay, and then I'll pay it. If he would have done that, he would have been cool. He'd have all $600. But since he tried to be proactive and he paid his $600 up front, they're like, hey, we can't do it. We only give you $200 back, so you're out that $400. I don't know how you're feeling about that, Luis.
Was that the actual math or whatever, or how much he was getting back, or they told him he was getting back?
Yeah, he actually, there was an update, because I know last week he had been talking about it, and this week he actually gave us numbers and was like, literally, because he read the text that he sent to Melody and Layla, and he was like, this jackass is trying to only give me $200 of my $600 that I paid. And so that's Covino's dilemma right now. How would you feel about that?
If I remember correctly, part of the sense of urgency was obviously because he doesn't want Melody up his ass about let's get this done. But the message, however this was communicated to the group or the parents or the kids, was there's a limited amount of fucking tickets. So the like first come first serve, right? So he didn't want Melody to miss out, and so he was like one of the first ones to jump on it because he wanted to guarantee that she had a spot to make sure that he didn't want to deal with her not being able to go because he lagged it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he immediately paid. I think that's bullshit. Like the only reason I guess I would say he'd be wrong or whatever was like, is there a disclaimer? Was it on like the small little letters at the bottom that says, hey, if this doesn't fill, you won't get your full money back. I mean, a lot of those things it would say typically, it sucks, period, right? Because a lot of people are gonna miss out on it. But if it was somewhere that he missed,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if he said that or not, or if that was something that just dropped on him, because that's kind of bullshit too.
Yeah, dog. And the thing is, dog, is that like even Spot, dog. He runs a lot of events and stuff. He was like, maybe even like, I don't know, $100, right? But you're gonna keep freaking 200 of the $600. That's like that's great. That's what 33% of it, right? Maybe I think Spot had said like 20% at the most, right? That they're gonna be charging as like a deposit. So Lisa says completely unacceptable, and she said that cheer clown clearly can't. Oh, that cheer clown is clearly not a mathematician. And Doug, it's just like, so where did this money go? I would be asking questions. All right, Doug, you have my $200 that you're keeping, and I know we're not the only family that paid. So if we pay $200, Melody has 5 other friends that paid. That's $1,000 now. What's that $1,000 doing? Did you pay it to the freaking company? Because I doubt you paid them $1,000. So say you have everybody collectively paid $5,000. Okay, say they keep half of that for the freaking deposit. Where's the other $2,500? So to me, it just sounds like this dude is trying to pull some shit because when Covino received his refund, it was like a Venmo deposit from this dude. So if it's going through the school and all that, dog, why would it be a Venmo deposit from this dude? I don't know. I just feel like there's something shady going on there, and I think Covino needs to get down to the bottom of it.
And like again, like maybe they said, look, yeah, we're gonna keep a portion of this for the next one, and now you have $200 credit or something. There's like I guess other ways or missing information, but it does sound a little shady. especially when there's like when there's anything going around with money and there's lack of information or like backstory, it's gonna raise red flags. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you say that up front? Yo, where was that at? And like, why me, right? There, he went over and beyond to be the first one to kind of get locked in there, and then now because of that, he's kind of getting reprimanded or kind of getting the short end of the stick, which is complete horseshit.
Lisa said he paid by Venmo directly to the clown. Dang, so that's how it started. Covino, I guess, paid this dude. Now he's paying him back. Dog, it's just a whole freaking can of worms that kind of sucks, man. There was something that I did want to get to that I was irritated, you know. Like I said, anytime I've met Rich in person, great dude, right? Been giving the after show love. You know, after 340 something episodes, he's decided, you know, so I don't want to bag on him. However, we got to be true to the after show, but later. And dog, there was just something that happened that freaking irritated the hell out of me. So let me go ahead and see if we can pull this up. Oh yeah, hold on. Right here. So if I'm talking to you, Doug, right, and there's something where I'm like, I know you kind of really don't want to talk about it, and we're right here, we're live, right? I might after the show be like, hey, after the show, but later, right? I might be like, hey, Luis, like, I know you don't want to get into it, dog, but are you good? You know, if you need it, you know, whatever, let me know. Whatever. Your cousin hooked up with your not cousin girl. Did it make you feel some type of way? Right, dog? If I could see you're not really wanting to get into it, I might be like, hey, let's save this for off the air, right? Rich could see that there was that, you know, Covino's birthday's coming up and he's not stoked for it, right? And he was like, I really don't want to get into it, but I'm just not looking forward to it. So in classic Rich Davis fashion, let's see if we can actually see how Rich handled this as friend of Steve Covino. Let's see what Rich had to say.
I'll drop it. I don't want to bother you about it. I was just saying, like,
okay. He's gonna drop it. That's what he says first, and then let's see what Rich said.
You've sort of maybe tricked yourself even into feeling
maybe
and looking younger.
Okay, let's see another one.
I'll drop it. I don't want to.
Oh wait, hold on.
You dye your hair. You go to the gym. You have a younger girlfriend.
So after every comment, Covino's like, I don't want to get into it. So he's like, you dye your hair. You have a young girlfriend. Covino's like, yeah, I don't know. I just want to get into it. Doug, and then, let's see.
Because everyone's at such a different stage in life, is that sort of what gets to you? Or is it seeing people your age? And here's the deal.
Doug, he's already said 13 times, I don't want to get into it.
What is it? Is it like a, oh my God, like, fuck.
What is it, Doug? What is it? Like, oh my God. Let's see. Another one.
Well, a coming of age question because you are 50.
Doug, look at this one.
Cove, I had a question for you. Little coming of age question. Are you the old young guy or the young old guy?
Doug, I'm like, this dude, he literally was like, hey, I'd rather not like get into this or whatever. Doug, let's see. Rich is relentless, always. Exactly, Lisa. I just don't understand how you could be like, literally like, Doug, like you know what? I'm feeling some type of way. I really would not like to get into it. Okay, you wouldn't?
Is it what it represents? Like, wow. Like,
then is it what it represents? Let's see.
Are you the old young guy or the young old guy?
Another one.
Cove, I had a question for you.
I was like, when I was what did I do? When I was watching it, I was like, oh, hold on. I was like, Doug, is he serious? So literally, like, Rich gets up and goes to the restroom, and then Spot's like, they were like, oh yeah, Rich wants to talk about something when he gets back. And Spot's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something personal and whatever. And I was like, Doug, it trips me out when you can clearly see like your buddy doesn't want to get into it, Doug. And it's one thing if you guys are, bless you. There's one thing if you guys don't want to get into it and you're kind of talking one-on-one. And yeah, I feel like as a friend, you should still kind of respect that, kind of like, all right, cool. But Doug, they're broadcasting this to the CNR audience, right? And Doug, so I'm like, you would think he would have a little more restraint or a little more courtesy as Covino's best friend and be like, all right, Doug, I could see he's just feeling some type of way. But he just kept on. What do you feel about that, Luis?
Yeah, that reminds me of what we talked about last week when he was like, "What if she's hot? What if she's super hot? What if she's super duper very hot?" Like, bro, the answer was still no. Like, I don't think
100%, 100%, Doug.
it's gonna
Literally,
change
the more you
how you
ask,
feel.
right? The more you ask,
Yeah.
right? Hey, you wouldn't do it? No, I wouldn't do it. What if she was hot? No, I wouldn't do it. What if she was really hot? No, I wouldn't do it. What if she was super duper hot? No, I wouldn't do it. What if she invited her friend, gave you $1 million? It's like, Doug, I said no. And again, now this week, I don't want to get into it. All right, cool. All right, well, I'm not going to press you, but what do you think it is? Do you think it's because you're the young old guy or the old young guy? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to get into it. Yeah, I feel you. You don't want to get into it. But do you think it's because you're seeing people? Oh, this is another one that I didn't even screen record. He said, do you think it's because you keep yourself young, dyeing your hair, young girlfriend, all that? He was like, is it because you see people that are your age and it like tells you how old you really are? Like behind this facade or whatever that you put up. And I was like, Doug, let it go. Like, you see your friends uncomfortable, man. You're making the viewers uncomfortable. And it was just like, it bothered me because he wouldn't let it go. And I'm like, I don't know if that's Rich Davis poking the bear or if that's him just being kind of clueless and being like, I just really want an answer and I don't care if we're live. I don't know, Doc. I couldn't psychoanalyze it, you know? And then Spot was like, oh, you think just because you have a notepad and you're on a leather couch, he's all, you think you can become Covino's therapist? And I was like, for real, dog, literally let it go. Leo says, what if she's a 12? Yeah, what if she's a 12? No, I said no 13 times. Lisa says, again, I'm not a doctor, but it's a clinical symptom of a thing. Meaning what? The way Rich is acting? Probably, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it just like I think it's a hodgepodge of everything. I think sometimes he acts it up for the show. I also feel like that's just who he is. But I don't care how you slice it, especially with Covino. I mean, I've known him a little bit here and there, and it's like when he's set in his ways, and if he says yes to whatever he's doing, it's gonna happen. And if he says no or whatever, it's not gonna happen. So it's like, and fucking Rich David should know that. So it's like, dude, no matter how you fucking slice this pizza, bro, he's not gonna fucking eat it, right? If you give it to him this way, if you give it to him that way, especially
but
even
I cut it in squares this time. But
even
I
on
cut it in
air,
triangles.
You know what I mean?
Like, he's not gonna eat it. I just I don't know, Doug. There was it bothered me because I think of like if you have a friend that brings up a conversation that you're like not comfortable with, right? And you're like not even like you don't like you have anything to hide. You're just not comfortable, right? And it just it makes you a little uneasy. And then your friend just keeps on, and you're like, dog, like you can clearly see like I'm getting fidgety or whatever. Like, and it's not like there's things that you just maybe never did like okay, like in my family growing up, dog, it was like you never talk like finances with like anybody outside of your family, right? So it's like, you know, like your mom and dad and the kids might know, right? But it's like if you had like a friend that was like my Nino, my dad's best friend, right? If he was asking my dad like about his finances, he'd be like, what the fuck, right? And so like those things, like I'm not balling, I'm not selling plasma, right? I'm middle of the road. But I'm like, I feel like when those conversations come up, whether somebody makes more money than me or less money than me, I always get like kind of awkward because growing up, it was like you never talked about that stuff, right? So it always makes me uncomfortable. And not like I have anything to hide. it's just like I get uncomfortable, and that's the only way I can explain it. And it's like if there's somebody that makes more money than me, I'm like, okay, are they trying to judge? If it's somebody that makes less money than me, I'm like, are they thinking I'm all bad? I'm like, I don't know. I just rather not talk about it. I would just rather just keep it to myself. And I would feel like if Rich Davis was my friend, he'd be like, all right, now why don't you want to talk about it? Let's get in. And I'm like, because Doug, I'm just not comfortable. I feel uncomfortable. It makes me weird or makes me feel weird because I didn't grow up sharing this kind of stuff. So like it's weird for me. It's not right. So I feel like Rich would be one of those people that keeps pressing you and you're like, Doug, I don't know. Like I feel a little weird. But anyway, Doug, that's my Rich Davis rant of the day. Lisa said some things are just private. Rich would be a great interrogator. You know what? You know what? That's actually good, Lisa, because I hate when people in entertainment where they're like, oh, Taylor Swift, if you weren't a mega superstar, what would you be doing? I would probably be an actor. I'm like, no, bitch, you would probably be the bag lady at fucking Ralph's, okay? Like, let's be real. So if you say Rich would be a great interrogator, that's realistic, right? I'm thinking if Rich was freaking not Rich Davis and, you know, he was Little Richie from freaking wherever the hell on the East Coast he's from, I'm like, he might be a good, you know, interrogator. You become a cop, right? Move up the chain of, you know, move up the ladder or whatever. So that's something realistic. So I think that might be possible, Lisa. And let me know, Luis, if there's anything you want to get into. If not, there's a few things. There was a hypothetical they talked about a few weeks ago that we never got into, but I still have it on my notes that I wanted to get into.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think they're called boundaries, right? You know,
Yeah.
like I'm pretty free spirited and willing to talk to whoever, whatever they want to talk to me, and same goes for me. But there's certain things I won't get into because they hurt my feelings. They bring back bad memories. It was a weak point in my life that I'm like, you know what? I'm past that. I want to revisit that. But if someone, and this kind of happened, I'm like, yo, I said I want to fucking talk about it. Like, you know, I'll start to get defensive about it because I'm like, you're entering my fucking bubble now, right? You're crossing my boundary. I'm like, hey, I don't like that shit. It's gonna bring some kind of emotion to me that I don't want to. I'm not prepared with. I don't want to deal with, or already dealt with, right? And I don't want to revisit. So that's kind of the shitty part too.
Yeah.
I think that's usually what ends up happening. You make someone feel uncomfortable because.
And Doug, if they're that close of a friend to you, don't you think they would not want you to feel uncomfortable, right? Like that. Why would you want to like? Don't you make people you don't like? You're like, I want to make that motherfucker uncomfortable, right? Or people you hate, right? You're like, I want to make this dude, right? I'm gonna pants this dude in front of the whole school, right? I'm gonna woof. Everybody's gonna see his freaking no-nos, right? And his butt cheeks. Like we're gonna do that. But if it's your homie, you wouldn't would you pants your best friend in front of the school? You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Then why are you making him feel awkward in this conversation, whether it's on the air, one-on-one, or whatever? And I feel like even in private, like Lisa was saying, if there's some things are private, like you said, I'm in my bubble. Even in private, if you're like, I don't know, dog, like it you know, it's making you a little uncomfortable or whatever. But on the air, I feel like is a million times worse because I'm like, dog, they not only are they broadcasting this to the people on Patreon, people can screen record, people can make clips. Spot might make a clip, right? Hey, that time when your buddy made you uncomfortable or whatever. Dog, it's just it can go a million places, and that just bothers me. I believe Rich doesn't realize it's crossing a boundary. I don't know if he doesn't realize or if he just doesn't really care. I think because, you know what, Lisa, I think that might be a good point because he might be thinking, well, I don't care. Like, yeah, I'm uncomfortable getting older, but I don't want to talk about it. I mean, but I don't mind talking about it. That doesn't mean, what up, Fournier? That doesn't mean that just because you're cool with it doesn't mean that everybody's cool with it. You know what I'm saying? So I think as a friend, you should have you should respect those boundaries, right? Like if I'm talking to Luis about something, and like I said, if he's feeling uncomfortable, as a friend, I feel like you'd be like, all right, well, dog, if you want to talk about it, I'm here, right? Maybe ask a couple of things, but if he's like, nah, I'm cool, then cool. Then kind of give him his space, right? And maybe check in later, right? If it really is something where you're like, I want to just make sure they're doing okay or whatever. But Doug, but prying and make them feel a little weird, that bothers me.
And I would say in Rich's only defense, if there wasn't, which there isn't on this one, if he didn't know about it, Cavino's been really vocal for years and even in recent weeks, if not months, about his birthday and like from the idea of a party to the idea of him just communicating it. And so it's like, dude, you know that this guy, for whatever reason, doesn't want to talk about it, is sensitive about it, whatever. Like, just leave it alone. But hey, man. And even then, Rich is it Rich Blubber Lips Davis? He fucking says everything. So it's like even if Kavino probably told him in private, you pretty sure he would say something somewhere down the road where, it's like, oh, I can't even tell this guy in private because he might go blab about it and then, Kavino
No,
might
Doug,
feel
you know what
shit
I
about
thought was kind of messed up is where I don't know what they were talking about. I was listening back to some shows before we started so I can try to catch up on some things I missed. And they were talking about what were they talking about? I forget. But they were talking about having another kid. And they were like, "Oh yeah, I don't know." Spot was like, "Oh, what? Sarah's pregnant?" Like made a joke, and then Rich was like, "Oh yeah, I'd hate that." Well, I wouldn't hate that. And then he was like, "Well, he's like, I just think I'm too old," or he was like, "I'm too old," and I'm like, "That's another thing, Doug." Where I'm like, Cavino still has that on the table, and he's older than you. I'm like, maybe I'm just too sensitive to like things like that, to where like, I think if it was me, I'd be a little more conscious of saying that, knowing my friend still has it on the table, may not have another kid, but but Rich is like, I think I'm too old for that. And then Cavino's over here a few years older, still thinking about that, So I don't know, Doug. I'm just, I don't know. I just was a little irritated with Rich this week.
it definitely was another jab. I caught that.
Yeah.
And he can be like the Winkler, like, I'm 80. Look at me. I have so much to give.
Oh yeah, and then so he was like, so then Rich is like, so if he's like, if you what did he say? He's like, if you had a kid right now, would you be comfortable with like dying in your 80s or whatever, and your kid being in their 30s or whatever? Yeah. And he was like, I guess. Like, what are you gonna say to that? Like, he has no other choice, right? If he has a kid right now and he, God willing, lives till he's 140, but may not, right? So are you comfortable with that reality of most likely you're going to die in your 80s or so, and your kids are going to be in their 20s or 30s, So I don't know. It was just a lot of awkwardness, I think, this week, Doug. He doesn't think before he speaks. I can see that, Lisa. There was on a lighter note, there was a hypothetical that they gave a few weeks ago, Doug, and I don't think it was so cut and dry as people may be. But you may be like, oh hell no, I would do this for 6 years or whatever. But the hypothetical was, they give you $45,000 a week, and you can't leave your house. And how long could you do it for? Is the question, right? And Doug, I think I could last way less than a lot of people. What do you think, Luis? What are you thinking about how long you could probably do $45,000 a week? Let's say after taxes, right? Let's make it nice numbers. $45,000 a week after taxes, because we talk to a lot of people and things vary from state to state, right? Or country to country. So $45,000 USD, right? Not those Canadian, what are they called? Roonies or boonies or shoonies or whatever, or pesos. So $45,000 American a week. You can't leave your house. How much money do you think you're making, Luis?
Bro, I actually remember that conversation, and it just depends. Like, there's always gonna be clauses and things you can't do, but like to me, I'm like pretty. So like my cup gets filled being around people watching, socializing. Um, so I don't know if I'd make it more in a month, and I'm just trying to picture myself like, can someone come over, even all that? Like, I still like to like my house is okay and nice, whatever, but like I want to fucking touch the grass kind of shit outside, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like COVID, right? I'm putting myself back into COVID mind. It was fucking terrible, bro. It was like if anyone's ever been locked up, that's kind of what it feels like. You can't leave your fucking little jail cell, right? I don't like it. I don't, no more locked doors. So I don't know if I would last more than a month, bro. I mean, I think I'd be pushing it. Even if I had all the shit I needed, fun stuff, extracurricular activities, things in my pad, and even if I had like a sick ass mansion, I think to me the fact of like not having that connection with randoms or people watching stuff like that, it's
Yeah.
things that I need that keep me like my soul full and happy and shit. Without that, I'd be pretty fucking miserable, aka depressed. Which, at that point, what the fuck's good the money if I'm not really happy with it or myself?
And it's funny that you say that because I thought you were going to be on the opposite end. I thought you were going to be like, no, I would go 3 years, right? Because there was a lot of people in that conversation in the hypothetical that were saying they could go forever. But dog, I was like, I couldn't go very long, right? Yes, $45,000 is a week. Yeah, that's a gang of money, right? But like you said, what would you a month, dog? If I'm like at home and say even like my family's out of town or whatever, and I'm like at home and it's like the evening and I'm like, damn, dog, I haven't left my house all day. I start feeling kind of weird, right? Even if I go outside but in this hypothetical, I don't even know if you can go outside. So let's say you can't leave your house, you can't go outside. Doug, that would be even worse for me because even like going outside, throwing the trash, coming in the house, whatever, going to the backyard, I just feel like feeling trapped, Doug. And that's how I start to feel. Like if I'm at home and it's the end of the day, I think when I start to think about it, because there's times obviously when you don't leave your house or whatever, but I think if I start getting in my head like, oh shit, dog, I haven't left the house all day. I haven't even ran to get gas or anything. I think when I get in my head like that, it starts to really bother me. So knowing, dog, that I couldn't do it for however long, I don't think I could do it as long as a lot of people were saying. And I think the people that are saying, oh, Covino being one of them, I could do it 6 months, no problem, whatever. People can come visit me, then who cares? Dog, but I think, like you mentioned, COVID, living through that, dog, and where we had a curfew, like a statewide curfew or whatever, right? Where you're like, I had to be at home by 6 and you whatever. Even that felt like you had to work from home. Everything felt like it was driving people crazy, dog. People were committing suicide and we actually could still leave, but feeling so isolated, I think would drive. It's like being in, for me, it would feel like being in solitary confinement. And like you mentioned, just the people watching, just freaking like going to freaking the grocery store and seeing other people. Like yeah, people can come visit you, but how many different type of people are coming to visit you? Just 15 people at the most, and that's probably being generous. So, Doug, like you said, even just seeing randoms, I feel like it's good for your psyche, right? I feel like it's good for you, and so you don't get depressed. So, I think, Doug, a month for me. I know Fournier said that it would be he would be able to do it for a season, like summer, winter, fall, whatever. Lisa said, whatever you're making, it's more than what you're making. Yeah, right. If you do if you do it for freaking for a month, right? That's most likely more than what you're making, unless you're making, what is it, 180 G's a month? Which I don't know about you when we talked about the finances, but I'm not. Not this month at least. But yeah, Doug, I just feel like it's when you really think about it, I feel like it would be a way crazier scenario than people think. And people think, oh, like if you have that, if you think about the money, you'll be fine. I don't know, dog. I'm a nutcase in my head, and I think the longer I go, dog, the longer I would fucking just lose my mind. Lisa said, I have to walk my dog, so I'm out. Exactly, Lisa, right? Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, I start to lean more Covino and some of his ways for this hypothetical, like where he's like, you know what, where Rich is like, hey, would you let a monkey shit on your face for $10 million? And Covino's like, no, right? And then Rich is like, well, what if the monkey, whatever, for 40 million? And Covino's like, no, Doug, this is one of those for me where I'm like, I can make my own money, right? I would do it as long as I could without losing my mind. And then I'll check out, and then I'll make money the rest of my life, but on my own. That's where one of those where typically when Covino's like, well, I'll make my own money, I don't need this shit. I'm always like, I would. I mean, if somebody had a shit on my head, I'd be cool, like whatever. But when in scenarios like this, I think isolation and stuff, dog. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. So that's when I lean more Covino, being like, well, I can make my own money. Um, Lisa
What
said,
if she
still
was a
no,
12?
still no. Yeah. What if she was a 12, dog? That we got to make T-shirts that say that, right? What if she was a 12?
Bro, and I think you've had a broken bones or so. Just like put yourself in that mindset, right? Like when you have a broken bone, when you're sick. Like there's only so many things. Like I remember I was home from work for like 2 weeks, and I had the option to leave, whatever. Like the first week, bro, like staying up all night, fucking playing video games, fucking getting crunk, doing all that, going out and shit. And then after, like that shit gets old, bro. Like it's like I just can't. And I think you said it best, at least for me, is feeling that like you're tied down feeling, that I hate that fucking feeling, you know what I mean? So it's like that to me would be my biggest thing, like oh, let me fucking out of here. Like
Yeah,
I don't think
dog,
I'd
looking
kind of
out your
go
window
kind of
like,
crazy.
let me out of
Yeah.
here, dog. And you know what, dog, and that's why, even for when people like on solitary confinement or whatever, I don't know if they give them like yard time, but there's something that they do, because if not, people will go crazy, right? Being in at 24 hours a day. So I forget what they do. I don't know all the laws, dog. And thank God I haven't been in solitary this week. Lisa says I'm claustrophobic. That's another thing, dog, is that as big as your house could be, like you mentioned, it could even be a freaking mansion, right? But the more that I think you think about it, the more the walls get coming closer, right? Like Jerry Seinfeld
Sure.
has that old bit where he's like, every time you paint, he's like, your house gets smaller. You're losing square footage or whatever, right? And I'm like, dog, I feel like that's how it would be. Louis says, I'm cool being locked up by myself for days. Legit. Days. Days is one thing, dog. But months or years or whatever everybody's cool with, days is one thing. Okay. But I feel like even locked up by yourself, dog, I feel like you still go and grab like a Powerade or something. I feel like you're still maybe months. I don't know, dog. I feel like it's easier said than done, because I don't think we realize how often that we actually leave the house. What if it was the opposite? Meaning what? You can't come home? I'll just find another place. I mean, I don't know what that means, but what if it's the opposite? What if it was the opposite? I don't know. Let us know, Leo, on the elaborate on that, because I'm not really sure. But yeah, the hypothetical, dog, I think a lot of people were just being like, hell yeah, I'll never leave my house again. And I'm just like, I don't know, dog. I'm too extroverted. Not even go to the mall. Yeah, dog, like, or to say mail. Go get the mail. Oh, not even to go get the mail. Oh, let me go.
Go stay at my mom's.
Go stay at my mom. Go stay at my mom's, Leo.
Yo, did you hear Rich's proposition on the 9/11 game? I don't know. I was just trying to think if it was if he was. I was just telling the people here. Did you catch Rich's proposition on the 9/11 game to
Oh,
Covino?
I did. Actually, I had that written down. I had it. I think I had take the trip or take the money. So, do you want to give people a little backstory on that?
Yeah, so I think Rich and Covino always make like a yearly bet on the MLB. Obviously, Covino being a Yankees fan and Rich being a Mets fan. I don't know what the actual bet is. I think it's whoever has like a better overall record pays the other guy, and then there's like an incentives for ever how many game difference there is. I think it's like $100 a game kind of stuff. So I think before the season even started, the fucking Mets were doomed. So Rich fucking lost right off the gate already, and so. The guys were talking about 9/11, obviously, and obviously that's a big summer moment for the US of A. But this year, I think it's what was it, the 25th anniversary or what? I don't know what it was, or
Yeah, it's
so it's the
25th because
anniversary.
9/11 of '01. So here we are coming up on the 25th anniversary.
So actually on 9/11 of this year, there's a 25th anniversary, and the Mets are playing the Yankees at Mets Stadium, I believe. And so yeah, Rich was trying to propose to Covino, saying, "Look, I got 4 tickets. I already owe you the money. How about I buy your ticket to the game, buy your flight, maybe take you to dinner or something, get you a little hat with ice cream, and we'll call it a deal, right? And so to me, it was like, is Rich trying to swindle Cavino out of it? Is he just trying to bring his buddy along? Or, I don't think it sounds like a bad deal. Because then he even said they were going to go have steak dinners at, what is it, that fancy
Like Del
steakhouse?
Frisco's or something.
Yeah, which, that shit ain't cheap. So to me, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if Cavino has made his mind up. He said he was like 90% sure about going, obviously, other than having to make sure, Melody and
Hmm.
personal stuff going on. But
I
I
think
think
part of
they'll
it.
lock it in.
I think part of it also was him trying to think of, is this really, does this really average out to about the same, right? I think that's why he was like 90% sure, because obviously he's got to check with Melody and all that stuff. But I think part of it was like, how much is a flight really? Right? Round trip. Okay, $500 maybe. Del Frisco's $200 or seven. Okay, all right. The tickets for the game. No, I think that's what he wants to do, because I would be doing that. I'd be like, wait, is this motherfucker trying to rip me off? And maybe that's the, like Cavino always says, the eye of the vato, right? Like if you're walking by and you see like something in the back of somebody's truck, you're like, I could take that shit, right? You're like, I'm not going to, but it's the eye of the vato, right? Or you're going for a walk around your neighborhood and you see a fucking lawnmower out there, you're like, if I wanted to, I could load that shit up in a truck. You don't do it, but it's the eye of the vato. I think just part of that, dog, is wondering if somebody's trying to screw you over, right? You don't want that, right? You're like, I don't want over here. I don't want Rich to try to pull one over on me. So I think not only is it Cavino trying to figure out plans and stuff, I think it's also him trying to be like, is it really worth it? The reason why I think it's really worth it is because Cavino hasn't seen this money, right? He hasn't missed this money. So it's like, yeah, it'd be nice if it comes to you in cash money, right? But if the hypothetical, or not that, for I guess for us it's a hypothetical, like what would you do? But in Cavino's case, he hasn't seen the money. So it's not like he's missing it from his bank account, right? So if it's basically like Rich is like, hey, 9/11, we're flying out there. I'm buying you a nice steak dinner. We're watching a game. Like you said, the little cup helmet of ice cream, and he gets to see his family. I feel like it's a win-win to take the trip, but I would probably kind of do the math as well. But you know what though, Doug? No, I wouldn't do the math, because if you're Covino, you're like, all right, dog, my bills are paid. I have my savings. I have, like, is that $1,000 really gonna do a whole lot for me? Probably not. That experience would be dope, right? Especially he gets to go see his family and all that. So I feel like that one, since he hasn't seen the money, or he's not missing the money because he hasn't paid it, I think he should take the trip. But that's just one man's opinion. I think Rich is trying to bamboozle Steve into celebrating his birthday. 9/11? No. Do you think he would plan like a surprise party or something for him a month after his birthday? I don't know.
Nah, I think he knows better because, like, once again, I think Cove would be pissed. But
Oh, you
I
would think
think
that. However, let's go back to this over here. Let me see.
Of age question.
Let me see.
Well, a coming of age question, because you are 50.
So you would
Okay. Is
think
it just
that.
is it like a, oh my god, like
Is it like, oh my
Eh,
God? So you would
look.
think that, he would know better. But I feel like history is the best indicator of the future, right? And if something tells us that Rich isn't one to let things go.
in Rich Blubber Lips Davis' defense, I'm pretty sure I heard him say, "Then let's fucking go, and I'll give you the money. Like, you pay your own shit, right? Like, you pay your own ticket, you do that. I'll still kind of pay the bet. I'll stand alone, but come with me to for the opportunity of our teams are playing. We're from there. Obviously, they talked about on that day too that they were, obviously they were there when all this stuff happened, and it's important for the city. It was important then. I'm sure it's going to be important now. And that's one thing they even were talking about. Like, is it going to be kind of somber? You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be a little bit of everything, right? I think there's going to be a little bit of crying. I think it's going to be a lot of cheering. It's a lot of good times. But as obviously, there's a lot of terrible things associated with that. There's also a lot of beautiful things that came from that. And I think they'll make some good memories. And I know Rich threw the hook out there for Spot to go, so I'm not sure if they've decided if Spot's even going. Spot's like, well, I want to take up a ticket. Like, bro, why don't you want to chill with your boys? But we'll see what happens. I still think it's a fair deal, and if it's not, fuck it. To your point, It's like he's like a net zero. You're either gonna be sponsored like an OnlyFans girl on go on a free trip and get all this shit paid for by Rich Davis. You know what I mean? It's like you don't really lose out on the money you'd ever had. So we'll see what happens. But I think it might be a good thing. And yeah, Rich gets Covino gets to see his family because I think Rich said, "Hey, we'll stay at your mom's whatever for a day
Mm-hmm.
to see everyone and say hello." So I think it'll be a good thing all the way around.
You know what though? So first, Andrew Sam said he's obsessed with Covino's 50th, like he's obsessed with bringing up the divorce, and I'm like, you know what, dog? I think Lisa might be right. I think he might be, cause dog, if the 50th has passed, and a month has passed by, and he's like, you know what, dog? 50 is not that bad, right? And he's kind of easing into it, and then surprise, right? Dog, how much more can you be surprised rather than a month after your birthday? So that might actually be something that Rich is trying to do, dog, because he might be, talking to Covino's entire family, right? He's got 4 other siblings. Get them all over there. Because, dog, as much as he doesn't want to celebrate, dog, 50 is a big deal, dog. I wish people I know would have made it to 50, so I think it is cool, dog. And now wedding, marriage, babies. Yeah, dog, you never know what the future holds, but yeah, dog, I think we have a couple more minutes, maybe like 5-10 more minutes, that we can wrap up a couple of things. There was a few more things I wanted to get to. We can kind of rapid fire, but let me know if there's anything else that you wanted to touch on. Anything in the world of sports. We know Covino and Rich, they do Fox Sports Radio, so any of that, let me know. If not, we can rapid fire.
No, shoot it. Other than, I just want to say real quick, don't forget to check out the after show but later merch, bro, representing. So make sure
there you go.
Make sure you check the website and the link.
You know what bothers me so much, dog, about you wearing that shirt is it looks so good on you. I don't know, and I'm not even trying to swing from the nuts, dog. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if it's your hat, the chain, but you pull it off. So dope. So I appreciate that. Like Luis said, you can look in the descriptions of every episode if you're watching this on YouTube, or actually anywhere. If you're listening on Spotify or any of that, the episodes will be up eventually. All right, Andrew Fournier. But yeah, you can pick up yourself an after show shirt, a freaking hoodie, for right now in the middle of the summer. If you want to sweat your ass off, lose a couple of them LBs, you can always do that. But Doug, there's something that makes me laugh. And it's so Papa Don. We know Papa Don. He's in the chat every morning, right? So if you're one of the live Patreon viewers, you get to actually, Paul, right? And he's on freaking the Carl page, all that. Dog, Paul cracks me up, and I know he checks out the after show. So what up, Paul? But dog, he always sends me these comparisons. He's like, "Have you ever thought of Ursig looking like freaking I don't know, whoever. Or have you ever thought of John Goodman looking like Babe Ruth or whatever, dog?" And like whenever he does, it's so funny because they're always dead on. And so like I messaged him the other day and I was like, "Dog, I'm like, I don't know like if he sits there and is just kind of like trying to make a comparison." But watch, I wonder if I could even find some of his messages. He was like, let me see, Paul Padone. He
must be doing the ball scroll and just thinking about it.
He goes, "Doesn't Ursig from the UFC look like Aaron Rodgers?" And I'm like, that's a dead on observation, I told him, but I never thought of it. And then let me see another one. He goes, let me see. Okay. He goes, "Doesn't Freddie Freeman look like Chris DiStefano, the comedian?" And I was like, a shit ton, dog. And he'll hit me up with these randomly, and it cracks me up because I'm like, dog, like, I think I kind of do that in my head. Like if I'm watching a TV show or something, I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like freaking Kelly Kapowski or something, right? But dog, I feel like you mentioned, he might be doing the bull scroll and then being like, just hit me up with it. And I'm like, dog, is he just hitting me up or is he hitting up like 10 people, right? Like I don't know. Check your DMs is what I'm saying if you're friends with Papa Don. But every time he sends me those, dog, it cracks me up because there's just things that like I never thought of. So Papa Don wanted to go ahead and shout him out. One thing that I didn't talk. I don't think I talked about, but when we went on our trip and we went to go see Fox Sports Radio and all that, dog, it's the dumbest thing ever. But we were in Spot's neighborhood, me and my sister, and we went to Ralph's, right, which was like literally like a 2 or 3 minute drive from Spot's house, and it was kind of cool, dog, just to see like these dudes that we watch most days of our lives, right? They're in our lives every day, whether it's on the Carl page, on Patreon, or whatever. But just to be like, oh, so this is where Spot buys his grapes, right? Dog, like it's like, all right, dog, like just see, okay, here they lock up the deodorant. Good to know, right? like it was just kind of like a weird kind of observation, like do you remember freaking Sebastian Bach from fucking one of them bands in like the 80s? Doug, I swear that motherfucker was there. And like I told my sister, I'm like, I pulled him up on the phone. I'm like, hey, psst. I'm like, doesn't this look like that dude? And I showed her a picture and she was all in a badass mood. She's like, yeah, I guess, or whatever, right? And Doug, and I was just like, no, motherfucker, I think that's Sebastian Bach right there, right? And so I was like looking at him. I was like, oh, I wanted to see if it was really him. But anyway, just to see that, and then obviously, I think the level of good-looking person at Spots Ralph's is way higher than the person at my local Mexican grocery store. You know, so that was another observation. But it was.
Is that the famous one where Spotty goes and gets his chicken tendies that he always talks about?
Maybe that might be it, dog. And they have a hell of a freaking a little deli area. So you walk in, dog, and you park in the parking garage, and you walk. Dog, this is how you know I'm not a big city boy. You're Vegas boy and Cali boy, but when you park in the parking garage and you go directly into the store from the parking garage, dog, I'm like, I'm in a big city, dog, right? I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I get on the escalator and shit. I'm like, oh hell yeah, dog. An escalator for the grocery store, dog? Big time, dog. So when I'm right there and you walk in, dog, and the deli's right there to your right, and you're like, there's a gang of shit there, and the bakery and all that good stuff. So I was like, man, this is where, like you said, Spot buys his chicken tenders, right? This is where this is where he buys his freaking protein shakes or whatever, you know? So that was just a weird observation that I don't think I talked about because it was something so stupid, but when we were there, I was like, oh, this is real. You know, this is really, dog, I was acting like Spot was like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, right? And dog, I'm like, this is where Arnold lives, right? Like, I just really was so like blown away with his Ralphs. So little things for people like us that are from small cities. So, Andrew Fournier says,
your sister there.
Andrew Fournier says, I do that with voices. What'd you say?
It sounds like you Paul Padone, your sister, when you were at the store. Be like,
oh
hey,
yeah,
this guy look like this guy.
I'm like, Joel. I'm like, but it's because I really thought it was him. I'm like, dog. I'm like, hey,
it probably was.
You know, dog. I mean, it could have been, but I was just like, I wanted to go and like, hey, dog. And then if he would have turned around and been just some like old white guy, he would have been all irritated. You know, I'm like, all right, dog. I'm not from here. I'm from Arizona, right? I'm 5 minutes from the Mexico border. All right, cut me some slack. But anyway, dog. I think that was pretty much it. Ralph's. I had a gym observation that I'll talk about next week. Covino's refund. We hit that. Waking up with a random song in your head, that we didn't get to that, but maybe we talk about that next week. And any parting words, Luis, before we head out tonight?
Nah, once again, appreciate everyone joining us live. Future dudes, appreciate the support. Make sure you support the boys. I think Rich Davis has his top 8 thing now.
Oh yeah, I want to do that
going on. And then we obviously Covino still got the Saturday Vato party. They got the Fox stuff, obviously, and then Patreon. So let us know. Support the boys. Thanks for supporting us. Vatos supporting Vatos. So thanks for having me again, bro. It's
Appreciate
always a pleasure.
And you know, real quick, I know one thing they did talk about is like how they've been in California longer than they were in New York. I feel like you're getting to that point right now, dog. We've already been doing the show together for almost a year. So I'm like, Luis isn't even like the new guy anymore, dog. He's the after show, but later. So I think that's super cool, dog. Like we mentioned last week, you're about either right where it was when I stopped recording with Johnny, or you're past that. So Luis Cortez Jr. over here, permanent staple in the after show, but later. So we appreciate you guys checking us out live. We appreciate the interaction. Always makes it so much more fun. So thank you guys. The after show, but later. Hit us up with any timestamps if you want us to hit on something. 928-235-5285 or at AfterShowBL across all social media. It's your boys D, Luis Cortez Jr. We will see you guys in episode number 351. Peace.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens and come and spend a day in the 757.
Hydro, the vapes and blunts I smoke.